Okay, everyone, welcome back to Ion Radio / Command Stack with a super exciting announcement video. So, I'm John.
I'm Garrett.
I'm Ryan.
And sadly, we don't have Ken because Ken is busy doing work that Ken does. So, he wishes he could be here, but we just decided to go ahead, push forward with this. So, we're all here. Why are we here? Someone can answer that for me.
Okay, well, obviously we've got these print off expansions for swapping faction ships around. We've got 3 new squadrons that are ready to play today, tournament legal, and we're just going to go through each of these new cards and ships and just see what's new, what's going on, how's this going to absolutely shake up everything in Armada right now.
Yeah. Okay, so before we jump right into it, just a little bit of our information. So this is the Command Stack, so you can find us on Apple Podcast and Spotify. You can also find this video posted to the Ion Radio YouTube channel. You can contact us at command.stack.podcast.gmail, and you can also come to the Ion Radio Discord where we're talking all about this anywhere. Basically choose any channel and people will talk to you right now about it. So that out of the way. This is technically episode 2/3. We're going to post episode 2 today, but we're jumping the line. So this is not a non-official episode. So episode A maybe, just to get this information out. So
we are recording, right? I just want to double check.
Yeah, I'm recording.
Okay.
Garrett, you're recording?
We're all very excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah. We'll see. We can't get through anything without trouble. So I'm going to transition over so the people on the video can see it, and let's go ahead and start talking about it. So one of you guys can just pick something, and I'll show you. So this is officially called Armada Reinforcement. I just transitioned the same thing over. So this is called Armada Reinforcement 1.
And I just want to say this is tournament legal now. If you're going to a tournament this Saturday, you could bring this stuff.
Today.
Yeah. What you can do is you just cut out a copy of these cards and you use your old base. So if you have a Victory Star Destroyer, let's just say, maybe you could use Victory Star Destroyer in another faction today. And we'll get to that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just go down the line. So first off, we have an Imperial version of the Venator 2 class Star Destroyer. And so what I kind of like about this is they just skipped over the Ven 1 because that was old school. That's Republic tech. And they went with the Venator 2, which is more than likely to get into the Empire, if that makes sense. Like from a lore perspective, that makes a lot of sense to me. So if we compare it directly to... I grabbed totally the wrong card. I grabbed a bunch of cards so I could at least compare them, and now I can't do that.
Oh, that was a good idea. Yeah.
Let me pull that up. Because I think it's practically the same, except I grabbed a Ven 1 because I was pretty excited. So it's the same amount of hull. It's the same defense tokens. It is not as good as pushing squadrons. So the Quasar
Got a salvo. John, sorry, it's got a salvo. This is all we've all had this content not very long. So
the Venator 2?
Yeah, I got it as having a salvo. Do you guys have that?
Yeah, the Imperial one has got a salvo, yeah.
Right, it's the same as the Venator 2 for the Republic.
Oh, sorry. I have ISD in my mind. That's my fault.
Yeah, I grabbed the wrong card. You're thinking of the wrong ship. We can't even focus right now. We're so excited. So the differences between it and the Republic versus the Imperial is that the Imperial one has 2 less squadrons. Same dice, same shields, same maneuverability, same hull, same anti-squadron, same defense tokens. So it really then comes down to what the upgrade bar is. So let's take a look at the upgrade bar. And instead of having, I believe that's an offensive retrofit, that's like the thing firing, right?
Yeah, the stat.
Instead of having that icon on it, it has an additional ordnance slot. So it's taking away from the role that it has as a fighter pusher, which is what it's used in the Republic. And it looks like it makes it into more of a brawly ship, mainly just with the ordnance. How would you guys run it with a double ordnance slot?
I think you got to put X-Rax on there for sure.
X-Rax.
I don't know what to do with the other one.
I mean, you could be ridiculous, put X-Rax and expanded launchers on there. But,
See, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's what makes it so exciting. Like, can you imagine? I
mean,
it's black dice. Yes.
It would be insane. It would be an insane shot, right? With ordnance experts.
Maybe gunnery teams.
Yeah, gunnery teams. Oh my gosh.
Think about the double
XI7s with XI7s.
Oh man, that would just punch straight through. Yeah, that would be fun. It's 100 points. So I don't really know how this ship will necessarily fit into the Imperial scheme as a whole. Spoiler on our episode that's coming out soon about Adepticon, but we were talking about the Imperial faction as a whole needed something. I don't necessarily think this is it. I think it will be fun to play, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just everyone has been asking for this for it feels like 5 years now, and
when Armada came out.
Yeah, so it's here. It's here now. So I think it's amazing. I love it. I think we're gonna see it on, just for novelty's sake, on like every table.
Yes.
The next year.
Yeah, just it's going to be amazing. It'll take months and years to figure out all this cool stuff you can do with it. I will say, I think you could probably take the 7th Fleet Star Destroyer title, which is not something you see a lot since it's a Star Destroyer.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah,
so I think that might be a little fun little thing to do. Yeah, I think it's X-Rax expanded launchers looks like the most fun right now.
and then just speed 3 right into the front of the person. Yeah, that would be a blast. The salvo actually makes it interesting because the Imperial don't have any native salvo, really, besides the Onager. So this ship, you don't have to use up your slots to take like the defensive slot to you be able to use salvo or the swap out a token. Like you just get it. And so that's something new to the Imperial that could change up how the Imperial players actually play.
You could even put local fire control on the gun team and take double salvo, which would be pretty nasty, I think.
Yes. Okay, so that's a quick highlight of that ship. It's almost the same as the Venator 2, except it has an extra ordnance slot. So now let's talk about this insane TIE Defender piloted by Darth Vader.
I've been waiting for this squadron since I opened the original Darth Vader, because I thought, it's like, this guy sucks, but this is my dream Vader. He's overpowered, he's ridiculous, scatter, adept, rogue. Oh, I mean, it's just the crits still count. That's his ability. I mean, this thing is just, it's an absolute monster. It's the most overpowered thing in its entire list.
So
and it's a bomber too, right?
Yeah. So not only do crits count, if you can hit the double crit on the his bombing attack, like his anti-ship attack, that's 4 damage. So that means he has like what, 6 on each dice, because each red dice has 2 crit spots, right? Right.
Yes.
So that means
I think that's right.
3 out of the 8 sides for red dice for him do 2 damage. Because he's bomber, so the crit does a hit, and then the crit does an additional hit. That's crazy good.
And then double tap it with Jindid.
Yes.
I mean, you could delete. I mean, you're just deleting ships at this point. Like, it's amazing. This is if anyone read the Thrawn books, they have like a short paragraph or a couple pages with Darth Vader Defender, and this is where that idea comes from. Darth Vader and a TIE Defender comes from those books, and he's amazing in the books with the TIE Defender. And this is immediately, I think, in my opinion, the best squadron in the game. It's got rogue, like Imperial rogues are now viable.
5 rogue.
Speed 5 rogue.
I'm glad. I'm just happy to see it. I mean, Vader should be the best squadron in the game by far, and it's finally here.
Yes, the scatter's nuts, but I love it. I think it should probably be a few more points, but you know what? They can change that later. Once it's broken and everyone proves it. But I think it's great. This is amazing.
This might be the thing that's in here that I'm most excited about is, oh man, that is so good. So I just went through my collection and I made sure that I had enough fighters of everything. And the sad thing is now I have to get another TIE Defender, put it together so that I can, have Darth Vader now, and I have to paint it up. Ugh.
Oh man, I was just saying, like, this was a genius sales move by AMG, because now all the Rebels got to buy Providences, all the Imperial players got to buy Venators, and everyone's got to buy extra squads now. I mean, this is just what a move.
Should we
What
keep it moving to the Providence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep rolling. So the Providence, it's going to be a Rebel class. So it's a Providence class carrier. It has Rebel artwork, which is pretty good. So sadly, I do need to, like Garrett was saying, I will need to buy another one because basically I'll have to repaint all these ships. That's really what it comes down to, is all these ships need to be repainted. So let's take a look at the Providence compared to the Providence carrier for the CIS.
I mean,
First off, it has the same amount of hull and the same amount of anti-squadron. It has 3 commands, 2 squadron compared to the 4 squadron as the carrier. So this thing doesn't actually push that many squadrons for engineering. Its defense tokens has an evade. That's crazy for a large ship, an evade, but it doesn't have a contain. So if you can get through the shields, you can just keep pushing damage through it. It's also crazy slow. Apparently, somehow they took out the engines for it, gave it an evade, and then made it like a VS1 or
I didn't notice. I did notice it was speed 2.
it's like a totally different ship, like
It's like
in almost every way, except for the arcs and then the dice.
Yeah, the dice are the same.
I like that thematically. It's a little bit of an older ship. You know, the engines don't work as well. I like it.
I'm going to zoom in for those people. Okay, so now let's talk about the upgrade bar. In this upgrade bar, maybe the most insane upgrade bar in any ship that's in Armada right now. So it has 2 officer slots. It has 2, I believe that's weapon team slots, whatever gunnery team is. I always forget the names of this. It has 2 of them. It has 2 offensive retrofit slots. And it has 2, I always forget what they're called too. Support team. So, like, you can still go speed 3, right? Like, you can just throw engine tech on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it has no actual weapons. So, basically, you can pile a whole bunch of stuff into this ship, like officer-wise and things like that. Like, you have a lot of options. Like, you've never had any amount of options like this. So you could do something like you could do flight controllers, gunnery teams, expanded hangar bay, the thing that allows you to push squadrons after you move, that thing, you know what I mean? I always forget what it's called. FCT. Then you can put engine tech on it, so you can do that twice. And then I don't actually know what you would do with the other support team. I guess you could do auxiliary shield team, right? Yeah, bump it up to 4 shields on the side. There's the build. That's my build. That's how calling it now. That's how you build the Providence.
It's a 90. With Agate, it's a 95-point Starhawk almost.
I know, crazy.
It's a 95-point Starhawk.
Yeah, I think also we were just talking about spoilers. You guys have to pay attention to our next podcast that we're going to be dropping soon, episode 2. But we literally were talking about how fun it would be to drop a Providence with Radis. Bam! I'm dropping a Providence with Radis.
within 24 hours. Here's the option.
Oh man!
You spoke it into existence, John.
I honestly did. Do I just take full credit for that? I think I do, right? Oh man!
This is
upgrades.
I mean, you know, with the 2 gunnery teams and the 2 offensive retrofits, you can take 2 boarding teams. I don't know what you can do with that, but it sounds exciting. Like, I guess you could take boarding troopers and Cham. You know, like
you could. Oh man, yeah. No, I think this ship. The options are just crazy with the double officer. Like, you could theoretically, right? You could have a Starhawk Radis build dropping this in front of it.
Oh my, that's gross. No defensive retrofit. I'll say that. No defensive retrofit. So it is, you know, it'll go down, but I mean, you could put you could put Lando officer on there and Durlin or Walix. Like, you got so many. This is going to be really fun to see the combos that people come up with, I think.
Yes, because all the cards, because usually all 3 of these upgrade slots are slots that are very reserved, you know, and you're like, ooh, I got to pick what it is. But with this, it's like, oh, whatever, pick whatever you want. You can have 2 of each.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see people making just the most wild builds in the next 6 months. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so any other thoughts on that ship specifically?
I don't think so. We'll talk about Hera.
Yeah, let's talk about Hera. So Hera is in an X-Wing squadron, which is pretty awesome. I love me some X-Wings. They play around with her dice pool. So she's still speed 3, hull 5. Her anti-squadron is 1 red, 2 blue, and a black. So that's like that weird rainbow. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is what it is. And then her anti-ship is a black dice, which on an X-Wing is amazing.
Yeah.
She gets dodge 1, and she's a bomber. She has double brace and costs 23 points. So that's pretty expensive, but cheaper than the other Hera. But her ability is what makes her very unique. When you are activated, so basically as long as your slider's activated for the turn, friendly squadrons at distance 1 that have escort gain adept 1 until the end of the round. So that means all those X-Wings get to re-roll their dice, which means I might actually play an X-Wing. Because my red dice for X-Wing bombers are terrible. But
Which means you don't need to bring Bomber Command Center, you know? Just got Hera in it.
I mean, but so if you think about this, she is a 3-point cheaper Bomber Command Flotilla, right?
Yeah.
It's A26. Yeah, so she's 3 points cheaper than bringing a flotilla with Bomber Command. Let me pull up real fast.
I think it's gonna make Rebels flying X-Wings viable, which is thematically, I think this game has not had that ever, almost, compared to everything else.
Garrett, you're right. It supercharges big balls a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's going to big's balls are always a tar pit, but they can always kind of be taken down. They're nothing. Big's balls are not that intimidating.
Yeah, they can get chipped away at. They don't do a ton of damage unless you have a Bomber Command Center. I mean, if you have a Bomber Command Center and a Hera, that's a reroll.
How about Luke Skywalker?
Oh my gosh.
He finally gets that force power that he always should have had. I'm actually surprised that they didn't just here's a new Luke Skywalker. He has adept 1.
John, you're going to speak it into existence.
I think they're holding back. I think we're going to see a Jango Fett fire spray. Quasar, I think, is coming for the Rebels, and then the Luke Skywalker overhaul. I think they're just holding back for rapid reinforcements number 2. They put rapid reinforcements 1 on this, right? That's a hint.
Yeah. Okay, so just looking through squadrons, things that this can affect basically all the X-Wings, which we already knew, but also YT 1300s have counter 1, and that would give them adept because they have escort. So that means your whole fleet of all those YT 1300s that have been sitting around since the beginning of time, you could use this to counter reroll all your dice and have a big ball. So I think this really helps the big ball. Again, spoiler, you guys need to pay attention to episode 2. I'm just going to keep pushing it. But we talk about Rebel fighters, how they go either one of 2 ways, which is Rebel rogues or you have big balls. This definitely gives a leg up on the big balls, I believe.
Definitely. All right, should we move on?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm just checking one more squadron. I always...
Ooh, Wedge Antilles.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal. Absolutely brutal.
I mean, Wedge will get that accuracy against Vader scatter, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
With Torin and Hera rerolls.
Now let's move on to something I think this might be the second ship that people would be most excited about. And it is a Victory Class 1 Star Destroyer for the Republic. And let's do a quick card comparison again. So it costs 75 points, which is slightly more expensive than the old Victory, which is not what we necessarily expected, because we always talk about how Victories needs a point decrease. But I think this will fit better into the GAR lineup than in the Imperial. It's the same amount of hull. It is the same anti-squadron, which is a blue dice. It has 3 command, 3 squadron, and 4 engineering, which is exactly the same as the previous Victory. And it has exactly the same dice and maneuver chart as the original Victory 1 for the Empire. Where it differs is in the defense tokens. It has a brace, a redirect, and a salvo, compared to the original Vic 1 that has a brace and 2 redirects. So a little bit less survivable, but it has that salvo that it can throw those 2 red dice out the back. And a little bit more expensive. So the next thing is the build bar, how that has changed. It has an officer. It has what I fondly like to call the gunnery team slot, which is the weapons team. It has a fleet. What is that guy called? I always forget. Sorry. I'm terrible. Support team.
Engine tech spot.
The engine tech spot, because you're going speed 2, so you want that. It has an offensive retrofit slot, which is really good, and it has 2 ordnance. Again, double ordnance. I honestly think this goes back to expanded and X-Rax. Like, that's going to be a ton of fun for this ship.
Man, the first thing that screams at me is spats with APDs and with ordnance experts to reroll, and then I guess throw on external Rex for a third punch. I mean, yeah, spat victories. I mean, this is a better victory than the Imperial victory by far in every way.
Yeah. I think you got to run it light. I think because the defense token is not terrific, and the Republic doesn't have commanders that are kind of defensive commanders really. At least none that are popping into my head right now.
Well,
but I think
Obi and Luminara.
Yeah, Obi, I guess. Spats for sure are just the way to go. X-Rax, I mean, it's just wonderful.
Yeah, everything about it is pretty amazing.
And all those repaints I've been seeing on the Armada Facebook page, Discord, that have been justified.
Yeah, sadly, I'm probably going to have to buy some of these and repaint them too. It's just kind of frustrating, but awesome at the same time.
I do like that you could run Ox shield teams. I mean, this is a free hero almost, when you think, I guess they give you the 2 points of Hero's 3 points, and this is a little 2 more than the Venator 1 or Victory 1, but you could put Ox shield teams or engine techs on there on that support team slot. It's great.
Yeah, this is a very, very good ship. And also with Spat, it actually becomes a broadside ship, which the Victory can't do right now. Broadsides and don't get into my front with the Spat.
Yeah, and this could be a great ARC 170 mover too with FCTs. Hadn't kind of thought about that. You give up your speed of your Victory, but the Republic doesn't have great ways to speed up the arcs, and this could be it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. Okay, so let's move on to Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker is not in a Y-Wing anymore. He has been promoted. He is now in a Delta 7 Aether Sprite squadron, and he is as powerful as he should be in that squadron. So he has 4 speed, 4 hull, which is the same as the standard ones. He has 2 blue and 2 black dice for anti-squadron and 1 black dice for anti-ship. He is a brace scatter ace like all the other Jedis primarily, and he costs 24 points. So that's kind of where we see the range for most of the Jedi in the Delta 7s is around that 24 points, so nothing outrageous there. He has Adept 2, which is really good. He has Counter 2, which makes that Adept really pair well with that, and he has Dodge 1, so he can reroll before he decides to scatter, which makes him very defensible. But his special is bonkers amazing. While attacking a squadron during your activation at the end of the resolve damage step, you may choose up to 2 enemy squadrons at distance 1 of the defender. If the defender was damaged, the chosen squadrons suffer 1 damage.
Absolutely wild.
Boom. Like vultures and things like that, if you're just looking at in the same era, like he shoots 1 vulture, kills it, and then just does damage automatically to anything around it. Like, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
it's essential against any scatter ace, right? Like against Shara, Tycho, it'll be doing auto damage. It's great.
Yeah. So one big thing to keep note of is that's during your activation. So you can't do it on counter. So
it's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine how bonkers crazy that would be? It would just be like, broo, broo, broo.
Yeah.
I mean, is this the first time we have Adept, Counter, and Dodge 1 all in a scatter race?
I want to say so. I thought dodge was just on Grievous as far as I can remember. I could be wrong though.
'Cause I don't
The
think Ahsoka
generics
has
have dodge. Let me check real fast. Let's see. Kit
Oh yeah,
Fisto
yeah, you're right. The
has-
Delta 7
He does
dodges.
not have Kit Fisto does not have dodge. Plo Koon does not
Only-
have dodge.
Only the generic Delta 7s.
Yeah.
So you can't, and let me ask you guys this: you can't use Ahsoka Tano to do the Anakin splash damage, right?
Correct, because it's not
It's
through
not his activation. Got it.
Right.
Okay.
So still
Thank
though,
goodness. That'd be stupid.
he's already super good. Settle down there, Ryan. Settle down.
He's 24 points. 24 points for Cazares for 4 whole Cazares. I'll say that. That's pretty pricey, but I don't think anyone's going to care.
Yeah, but when you look at fitting into the rest, you have Loom, which is 23, Ahsoka Tano, who's 23, Plo Koon, who's 24, and then Kit Fisto's 25. So he's almost
point.
like my go-to now. Like a lot
Oh,
of my
yeah.
builds I have, like for Plo Koon and things like that, I use Luminara. But I might probably just use Anakin, because Anakin would annihilate in that. Think about, like, you know, Plo Koon, I roll a black dice, I re-roll the black dice, here's a double, and you can't do anything with it. Like, he's good. Again, I'll have to pull out another pack of fighters so I can paint him up the proper colors. I almost did it when I painted my original guys. But I'm like, they haven't announced anything. And then they just drop it on me and give me no heads up. It's just really, really rude. I'll say that.
Right. I mean, don't sleep on that dodge. I mean, he has a dodge and scatter.
Yeah.
That's
Well, you could pair him with Axe, right, for the extra.
Oh my
token.
gosh.
Yeah, because you get to choose when you do it. So you can just be like, re-roll that. Oh, 1 damage. Axe says it's 0.
You don't even
Yep.
need to scatter.
You don't even need to scatter.
Jeez.
Oh, I'm excited for that. Like, I'm excited because Anakin is such, well, he's the whole story of Star Wars, but like, he's like, putting him in just a Y-wing is kind of sad. Up to this point, we haven't really had that superhero. Like, you don't have Yoda, you don't have Obi-Wan in a fighter. Like, all the Jedis they have in fighters are like, okay, but to me, they're almost all secondary characters. Like, Anakin being in a fighter is something that the GAR really, really needed.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna wait like 2 to 3 years for the squadron pack to come out. So this is, man, what a happy day.
Yeah.
Good day.
Also, talking with Derek on the official, not official, but the main Armada Discord, I asked, like, what should you do with this stuff? Because normally you have, like, the ship or the squadron dials that you would rotate. So what you should be doing is you should be using the generic for it and then clearly marking it. So, like, almost using, like, one of the round tokens, or like, you know how you have the ship numbers, like clearly marking that this is not a generic fighter, this is Anakin or
There might
Hera
be-
or Darth Vader.
There might be an Admiral Tater piece of acrylic too that you might be able to toss on there to denote it as an Anakin starfighter or something. I don't know.
Listen, I prototyped making those squadron things. It's they're not super duper easy to mass produce out of acrylic. Hopefully, the AMG, you know what they need to do. Here's what AMG feels. This is what you need to do. Our OP kits need to include squadron cardboard. I think that'd be a good, quick way to get things out. If we're doing like special editions, and then alt art of these cards. Yeah, I mean that's easy answer.
Yes, it is. Okay, so because we haven't upgraded to Zoom Pro yet, we have about 9 minutes left, and we can use that to talk about this last ship, which is a Gozanti cruiser for the CIS, which was not what I expected, mainly because I don't necessarily think the game needs more flotillas. And out of all the factions that don't probably need flotillas, it's probably not the CIS, but I'm excited to use it because I think it's going to be a crazy powerhouse utility ship for the CIS. So let's take a look at it. Same amount of hull, same black dice as the normal Imperial Gozanti cruiser. It has the same command, squadron, and engineering, which is 1 command, 2 squadron, 2 engineering. It still has a scatter, it still has an evade. Its maneuver chart is exactly the same, and its dice are exactly the same, which is blue out of every single arc. So on face value, the ship card is the same, except for the upgrade cards. It has an officer slot, a weapon team slot, and an ion cannon slot. So there are a lot of possibilities that you've never even thought about for this ship. And it's crazy. It also costs, hold on, I gotta sneeze. Sorry about that. It also costs 27 points instead of 23. So it increases the cost by 3, but it makes it into more of an attack ship than a support ship, because that's really what the hard cells there are for. What's your guys'
I think the ion slot is super exciting. I think the only build that I've kind of come up with so far is Kraken, HIE for heavy ion emplacement that we talked about in the episode to come. Heavy ion emplacements is great, and you could use Kraken you can use this as a spotter or Kraken to get that extra ship in there. But I think you can at least with Kraken, and then you could also use Kraken to make your blue dice automatically a crit, and so you're doing 4 damage off of a Gozanti shot. So it's pretty exciting.
Okay, so I'm personally thinking huge use out of this ship from TF and Martuk. And for the weapon team slot, I would say I would pretty much use weapons battery techs and then the heavy ion emplacement, because then I can just take the accuracy and automatically turn it into a crit. So I could roll my blue dice, Martuk in or whatever, then that's just free damage. And then I can confire in a blue, and then I can change an accuracy to a crit, which should be able to pull it off. Like, that's a huge chance to pull it off there. And that's doing tons of shield damage for nothing. It's a little ship that you don't even want to attack compared to the rest of the ships.
You're immediately going to see these in separatist fleets. And
Yeah, I mean, it's just another activation too, on top of all these benefits.
Yes.
It's easy to get 5 activations now with this.
Yeah, it changes the dynamic of where I always say that the fleets normally lie. Like, separatist fleets typically lie from 3 to 4. This will bump them to 4 to 5 activations per fleet.
For sure.
Okay.
I don't have anything left on the Gozanti, so shoot.
Yeah, that's about
I think
it.
it's
for
it.
that.
I don't think there was anything different in the other, because there's 2 other links there. I think those are the same Armadas and tournament regulations. I scanned through them real fast. I didn't see anything new.
No,
So I think it's
this
just these
was
cards.
the thing,
Yep.
which
so
is
I'm
still
sorry.
huge.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you have a tournament this weekend and your opponent, if you're not aware of this, and your opponent rolls up with Squadron Vader, and
honestly, it looks like it's fan fiction because it's broken.
Yeah, it's so good. It's, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be mad when it happens to me, but I'm so thrilled he's gonna be on the board and as powerful as he always should have been.
Yeah, and TIE Defenders have always been one of my favorite ships ever. So now being able to roll up with another TIE Defender that's actually really good is going to feel amazing.
yes, this is definitely an offensive update to the game. I'd say like things are going to die quicker in this meta.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. So we just really wanted to give you a rundown and kind of our thoughts on how to build these ships as soon as possible. We're going to be releasing this as soon as it's done getting edited and put together for the podcast, which you can find us where, Ryan?
You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yep, and as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to be editing it and getting it live out onto YouTube. So if you're watching it, then that's where you're seeing it. Over this weekend, we're going to be releasing episode 2 of our podcast. This is going to be Command Stack A or whatever we decide to call it.
1.5, I think. So.
1.5, yeah, that sounds good to me. So we have already talked about Adepticon, and it's a really good conversation. Most of the stuff we talked about meta is going to change now. So we already have episode 3 planned out, and we're going to be doing that very soon. So there's a lot of great things to pay attention to, not only our podcast, Command Stack, but also in our Armada as a whole. Like, we're not dead, like, clearly.
Yeah. It's if keep buying into the game, keep new life. I mean, this is a really exciting opportunity for us. So this at least, I mean, with Armada players, this is at least like 3 years of content right here.
I know, seriously, it is. It's
yeah.
like 4 ships and 3 squadrons. That's like half a squad pack and 4 new ships. That's amazing. Just what we needed.
And I know I'm reading a lot into it, but the whole fact that it says Rapid Reinforcements 1 has got me even more excited than the cards themselves.
I know, but what could they do to make Vader more powerful? That's really the question.
Redo his Admiral card. Make it worse.
I think I do want to say they got to redo Vader Advanced. They just got to redo TIE Advanced Vader. There's
But they
he's
don't
so
need
sad.
to now. Like, why would you ever bring that instead of this?
I know.
I don't care anymore. You can I'll put them away. TIE Advance.
Yeah. Okay.
Defender
So
of where it's at.
thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us on our podcast and watching us on video if you did that. Until next time, I'm John.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm Ryan.
And Ken wasn't able to be with us, but he thanks you as well. Go check us out on Command Stack. There's going to be lots of podcasts and lots of talking there. Go check out my channel, Ion Radio, and all the content we're releasing there. Go check out Admiral Tater's ship shop and all the cool tokens and rulers and things there. We have lots of stuff to point you in the direction for. So until next time, this is Command Stack /Ion Radio / We Are the Command Staff. Thank you very much.